On Dawg Talk today, I get to talk to my man Chris Wright about something we know best, hooping. We are going to get into everything from on-the-court X's and O's to hoop culture.
Hey everybody, it's your co-host Chris Wright. We're excited to start our Hoya series with two-time Big East regular season champ, Big East tournament champion, and one of the leaders of the 2007 Final Four team, the one and only Patrick Ewing Jr.
I'm great, bro. I can't complain.
Okay, cool. So I have a question off the bat. I just want to ask you this because I'm a fan of you, and I don't understand. It says my first question is after some initial speculation that he would wear his father's retired number 33, Ewing took number 6 in honor of his favorite player, Bill Russell.
Yeah.
Bro, how are you a Bill?
Yeah.
That was a straight up answer coming for, I just wanted to press this, see I'm a good guy. You ain't watching Russell, bro.
So it was crazy because, obviously, wearing 33 almost my whole life,
Right.
Felt like I got to the pros and my dad number's already retired. And I was never really big on just wearing the number that he wore. Like, that was never really my thing. So, like, if you look at when I was at Indiana, my first year I wore 3. And then my second year, I felt like I needed a change and I wore 0. And then I got to Georgetown and I wanted to wear 0 again, but they wouldn't let me. So, they gave me back 33, which was cool. You know what I'm saying? It was a way to honor my dad, a way to honor, my uncle Alonzo. And so I didn't mind it. But then when I got to the pros, with 33 already being taken, even when I was in Sacramento, I think I was going to wear 0 again. Right. But then when I got to the Knicks, I didn't want to wear 33 because it was already retired. So, one of my favorite players growing up was Bill Russell because, most championships, he wasn't the guy who was going to score a lot of points. He was a defender, rebounder, and that's who I kind of saw myself as a player, not as Bill Russell, but as a defender, rebounder. So I figured we're number 6.
Okay. I had to understand that, man. I'm like, where does 6 come from? I don't know. I was like, I know your dad. Did he wear 6 for?
Yeah, and he wore it at the Olympics. I think he wore it in the All-Star game maybe once. Maybe it was just 3 in the All-Star game, but he definitely wore 6 in the Olympics both times.
Yes,
when he played with the Magic too, though, he wore 6 too, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he definitely did.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the first time I saw Pat, man. I can remember the first time I saw Pat. The first time I saw Pat was on TV. He was at National Christian. Remember that little TV show they used to have? Featuring it was
High School Sports, whatever it is, something like that.
Sports joy.
So my man had the little fro, right? He had the little fro National Christian jersey. He had the little Kobe style joint, and they kept saying, "Yeah, Patrick Ewing Jr. his son," and da da da. You just keep seeing him jump around the court. He's always mean mugging on the court, right? Yep. Always mugging and stuff. So I'm like, "Damn, okay, we're gonna see who he is." And I see him flying around. I was like, "Okay, yeah, that's his son." I can see him flying around. But I remember it because y'all had a game. Y'all must have played up at Riverdale or something.
Yeah.
And that's when I first saw you play. I was like, "Oh yeah, Pat, nice." You know what I'm saying? That was the first time I saw you. Because you didn't grow up around, around here. So that was the first time I remember seeing you. You was at National Christian.
Right.
I think the first time I ever seen Pat was, I think it had to be like the Charlie Weber. And same thing, fro, real athletic out there, blocking shots, screaming, doing all that. Like, so like, I saw it, I'm like, God, like,
yeah, elite
athlete. This dude just all over the place, pretty much. Athletic, just really, just all over the place. Like, pretty much like how he was when we was at Georgetown. Like, right. No, shit, like, it was crazy, man. It was crazy, bro.
So when you came to National Christian, right? I don't know what you knew of the DMV and all, and at that time, and how that experience was. So tell us, how was that experience when you got to National Christian? And
National Christian was great. For me, it was crazy because when I was in high school, when I was like a freshman or sophomore, I used to go to Georgetown camp every year from when I was like 5 until I was, probably like 14. And right when the time I turned 14, Big John was like, you're too good to be at camp now. Like, you don't need to be coming to camp. So he sent me to play in the AAU tournament for a weekend. And on my team, Eddie Basden, Delonte West, You know, I had some real DMV legends that were on that team. I remember I'm watching James White, like, dang, yo, he's cold. Like, and I remember we playing a tournament at UDC, and I'm just looking at, I'm like, yo, that dude is nice. Like, James White was my favorite player from then on. Like, I love James White. So, like,
don't tell him that in person. He'll get real hype. You tell him that.
You know, I swear, yo, I was just a young boy watching this dude fly in the air because I was an athletic dude too, and I see this man taking off from the free throw line doing windmills. I'm like, man, I want to do that.
Right.
So like that was my first taste of real like DMV basketball.
Right.
And so you know, I went to high school in Georgia, where you know we got a bunch of athletes, but when I came up to nationals, like when I really realized like people up here can play. Like it's not just athletes, like people got game.
So you notice a dramatic difference in the level?
Yeah, definitely. The skill wise, I mean, I feel like the players that play in the DMV area have a little more skill than the players where I played at in Georgia. I feel like we had a lot of athletes as opposed to like people who were like skilled, but like if you want to talk about like pound for pound just athletes, I feel like Georgia had the better athletes. But if you talk about players who can really play, I think DMV was the area.
Right. Yeah,
but
we definitely got a lot of skilled guys.
No, definitely that. And so, like, when I got to national, my first, for my senior year of high school, I mean, it was kind of shocking because for me, you know,
as a senior, that was a senior?
It was my senior year, it was my last year. So I had been playing in Georgia, and then my dad had took a job with the Wizards, and my mom wanted to move up here. So I was like, well, I'm gonna just go up here and go to the school up here that people had told me was an up and coming school. They had just had Johnny Hargett, who was elite, And then so I get up here and it was different. It was just way different. I mean, the amount of skill work that we put in at National was crazy. And then we had some crazy players. I mean, like when I first got there, we had Mike Beasley, who was in the 8th grade. We had KD, who was in the 9th grade. We had Deron Washington, an NBA pick. Abdullah Jallo, who a lot of people don't know about, who was elite. Chris Cole, Fat Cat, who probably has the best handles of any player I've ever seen in my entire life.
I've never seen anybody steal the ball from him.
Never. I've never seen literally ever seen anybody steal the ball from him. His handles were crazy.
Right.
And like, I mean, lethal shooter, Chris Matthews. I mean, we had a squad, and I just remember getting there and being like, man, if I'm gonna play up here, I got to get a lot better. I mean, we played our first tournament in the summer against Lennox Clazer. Montrose and Lennox Clazer. And when I tell you, I felt like I played all right, but I saw the difference between my game and his game.
Yeah, Lennox was a grown man in high school, though.
Man, it was crazy. It was strong, athletic, fast. I mean, he was crazy. People don't talk about it. Even as a pro. I mean, he was great.
But see, in high school, he was straight up just shooting at. I mean, in the paint, he wasn't shooting it like that.
He did against us. he did against us. He showed the whole package against us, man. And it was crazy. So like, I got up here and I was like, all right, I got to get a lot better.
Team, huh?
I'm sorry.
Point guard on that Montrose team.
The point I don't even remember. I just remember Lennox because that's who I was guarding.
Right. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. But like, I came up and I was like, man, I got to get a lot better. Like, I felt like I was good, but if I want to compete with these guys up here, then I just can't be dunking everything. I got to work on my jump shot. I got to work on my handles. I got to get in better condition, like, because these guys are out here hooping all day, every day. And I mean, like, literally, so when I got here that summer, that's all we did was hoop. Right. It was skill work, hoop every day, 7 days a week. It just became who I was. And
yeah, that's crazy. So let me ask you, so from coming from Marietta, Georgia, and then coming here and seeing that was such like a major part of everybody's life, because everybody was working out and playing, you know what I'm saying? You play pickup. I mean, you work out and then you play pickup. Atlanta was nothing like that, right?
No, not really. I mean, not to the level that it was here. I mean, when I tell you, I would wake up in the mornings, we get to the gym at 6 and we wouldn't leave the gym till 8 p.m. Right. And the whole time we just working out or hooping. Like, that's not what we did where I was from in Marietta. Like, where I was, I mean, we might come to the gym at noon, get a little hour of school work, play for like 2 hours, and then you go home. You home before 5 o'clock.
Right.
When I got here, 6 a.m. we in the gym already grinding.
Hey,
we
man,
put in all the work.
DMV, man.
No, it's special basketball up here, man. Like it really is. Like
we get it in.
Yeah, you definitely do, and that's why you see so many people come out of DMV and become successful on the court. I mean, like, cause the grind out here, the competition that y'all have out here is real.
Yeah, no, it is. And that's it. Me and Freya talked about it all the time. Like, it's crazy when you go on to, as a professional and play in all these different places. When you talk about where you were and where you grew up and the competition and just the level of players that people are always amazed. Like, dang, all y'all from the same area.
Yeah.
The same, kind of grew up in the same type of gyms, the same people was around. Everybody knows everybody because it's a really, really unique place. And, if you really put the numbers to it, it's very hard to say it's another place that is more elite than us in basketball,
No, it's definitely hard. And I remember even seeing young guys like Nolan. Like, I remember meeting Nolan when he was like, I don't know, Nolan might have been in like the 5th, 6th grade when I met Nolan.
Tough.
Coming up to national and competing against us, and I'm like, yo, this little young boy is tough. Like, even watching Mike and KD when they was young in 8th, 9th grade, like I can't sit here and say I thought they were going to be as elite as they became, but they were definitely nice, and you could definitely see that the trajectory that they were going on at the time, they definitely had a chance to be very special.
Right. Nah, 100%. 100%. It's some of these dudes. It was evident early. They were like the Kevin Durant and Mike. They were kind of like the DJs, DeMar Johnsons and stuff.
Yes.
You kind of just see whenever it just clicks with them, it's gonna be over.
Yes.
It was one of those type of situations. Nobody had the chance.
None.
All right. So you want to ask the next joint, Free?
Yeah, I got you. So we all know your father's a legend. Georgetown is essentially in your DNA. How did or does that impact you?
Honestly, Georgetown has really been one of the key components of my life since day one. Like, I make jokes all the time, but it's, partially true. I was probably conceived on Georgetown's campus. I probably spent more time in McDonough Gymnasium than I have anywhere else in my entire life. Like, Georgetown, as far for me, it's life, man. And, it's a very special place to me. And I never would have thought growing up that it would be that. I kind of knew when I was young that I wanted to go to Georgetown as a young kid, and with Big John there, because he was like another father figure to me, and I probably was more scared of him if I did something bad than I wasn't my own dad. It's just like I knew I'll get that call and them MFs come out, and
got that James Earl Jones voice get on the phone. That's a different tone.
I was more scared of him than probably anybody else if I ever got in trouble. So when he actually, it was crazy because like when he stepped down, I didn't know what I wanted to do as far as schools went. Like I had just known Georgetown and John Thompson. So when he retired, I just didn't see myself just being a Georgetown player anymore. And so I kind of strayed away from that path for a little while and, went to Indiana for 2 years. And I think that it was crazy.
Before we get to that, because I want to get to that part. I'm interested just the aura around your father. My father's from New York City. They grew up as Georgetown fans, big Georgetown fans. What that represented for people back in the 80s and that time period when they were rocking, when your dad was the man and it was Hoya paranoia and everything was, was elite status with us. Georgetown is forever engraved in people's minds of that. You know what I'm saying? So you could see how it affected the culture and affected the world, affected America in such a way. You seeing people in Chicago wearing Georgetown starter jackets. You seeing people in California, everybody repping Georgetown.
Right.
So for me, if I'm looking at you, that has to have a direct impact on you. Maybe not knowing it back then, but as you grow, like that's forever. It's you got the name.
Definitely. That's definitely the case where I really felt like to being part of that culture because, like I said, like I feel like I was born in Georgetown, like from day one. Right. And even I mean, I remember I was in Greece in 2014, and I'm seeing this Greek dude walking around with a Georgetown starter jacket on.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's ridiculous. And I mean, it's part of the culture. I mean, even when you look at TV shows and you see all the people that they have going to Georgetown, or like basketball shows, and like, oh yeah, this kid's getting recruited by Georgetown and all this other stuff. Like,
Right.
Georgetown is a part of the culture, and it's ingrained. I mean, like, how many people that you know that went to Georgetown but thought it was a HBCU before they really realized that what Georgetown is.
Listen, I don't want to sound crazy or nothing, but I used to watch TV when I was a little kid. I used to think all them schools was HBCUs.
But for real, like if you learn about these schools through basketball, you think a lot of these schools are HBCUs, man. Like,
yeah, I couldn't wait to go to. I was like, oh yeah, these are all black schools. You know, that's what I thought. I really did. That's all you see on TV. So yeah, so that's crazy, you know. So just to having that feeling and just growing up there. So I mean, now you come to National Christian, you go to National Christian, you're there for a year, you're playing around all these guys. How did you not commit to Georgetown immediately?
So, you know, it was crazy because as a sophomore in high school, I was like a top, 20, 25 recruit. And then I had some injuries over the course of my next couple of years, and I dropped to like, top 80 or whatever. And then a lot of schools weren't really recruiting me heavy. And I felt like a lot of people just figured I was going to Georgetown. I moved to the DMV area. So everyone just assumes like, all right, he's moving there to be closer to Georgetown. And about halfway through the year, I'm looking at, all these other guys, they getting letters, they committing, my best friends they've already committed to schools. And I was like, well, why no one, I'm not getting no letters. I'm averaging, 20 plus, 12 plus boards, 3 blocks, 3 steals, 3 assists. Like, I can play too. Like, I'm not, and we playing elite competition out here. Why am I not getting these looks? And I was, a top 100 kid. And so, we put out a statement that, going to Georgetown isn't my, that's not what I want to do at the moment. It's an option, but it's not my go-to. And all these schools started flooding in with late, coming in late because I was
They already knew. They already was thinking.
Yeah, I was a second. I mean, like you were. I mean, I know you was at with NC State first, but like when you decommitted and everyone's on you because you that second wave. And so I was part of that second wave. And honestly, it was a crazy time because at the time my dad was coaching with the Wizards, like I said, and Jared Jeffries was a rookie on the team at the time. And so I went up to Jared and I was like, yo, Jared, what was your experience like in Indiana? They're recruiting me kind of hard right now. And he tells me he wants me to play like he played you. So Jared is, selling it to me. Man, he gonna let you rock out. Like if he gonna let you do me, like he won't let you play like he played me. He gonna let you shoot, pass. You gonna control the ball, this and that. So I'm like, oh, that sounds good.
I hated Jared Jeffries' game at Indiana. I really did.
Jared was cold though.
I hated his game though, bro.
He was straight over there though, man.
Jared was cold, and he was a great dude too. So that's what like really sold it to me. Like just sitting there talking to Jared and being able to have that, to be able to trust what he was saying, was really what sold me on the school. But obviously things didn't work out the way that the coaches said they wanted me to play, so I couldn't stay there.
Right. Yeah.
Who's on your team at Indiana? Who's some of the guys?
My team, NBA players, Bracy Wright, DJ White, Robert Vaden.
Rob.
Yeah, Black Rob was cold-blooded, boy.
Rob is tough.
Black Rob, he had a cannon.
Whoo, Black Rob is tough. If people don't know who we're talking about Robert Vaden.
Yeah.
Robert Vaden was a straight-up bucket at Indiana, UAB, whatever you want to call it.
Anywhere he played, he was a bucket. He gonna get you a bucket any way you wanted to.
Oh my gosh, man. Oh my gosh.
But we definitely had teams that should have done better than they did. When I was at Indiana, we I'm not gonna say it was a coaching, but we had teams with 5 NBA players, 4 or 5 NBA players. So I mean, I'm not gonna blame it on the coach because we gotta take accountability too. But at the same time, I mean, I was playing a 5 at 6'8", 200 pounds soaking wet. You know what I'm saying? So like, I can't. I gotta guard big 7 foot 300 pound dudes in the Big Ten every night. I can't. I ain't with that.
That's not a recipe to win.
Yeah, that wasn't it for me.
Right. Okay. So now you decide to leave Indiana. Did you feel pressure immediately to come to Georgetown? Was that at that point? Did you feel like that was immediate? Like I know I need to do this.
Nah, not at all, which is crazy. Like, if I'm being honest, 100% honest, I took my visit to Georgetown just because I wanted to come back and hang out in DC one time. Like, it wasn't.
How was your visit?
Yeah. How was it?
My visit was cool. Like,
Did you have fun?
I did. So I came after the season was over.
I hated my visit.
Yeah, that's because I wasn't your host. That's the problem.
Visit was awful.
I wasn't your host. See, that's what it
Our host left us.
No, left us. Our visit
Left us.
was awful, dog.
We was out there by ourselves. Like,
that's why they had to give me the recruits. Any recruit that they really wanted, I told them, I'm like, Coach, y'all got to give them to me because I'm going to get these kids. I'll get them. They're going to have fun. Because I remember my visit at Indiana was horrible.
And you went, what's up with us, man?
We was tripping. We were tripping.
I don't know, because me and Free both was like, okay, I guess we just got to figure it out from here. Who was it, man? We might have to call them out, man. Somebody that was out there. And then, we had to leave the next morning. What's crazy? Our visit night, it was Midnight Madness. We had to leave because we had SATs in the morning.
I remember that. I actually do remember that. I remember that.
SATs. Yes, but let's get back to the joint.
But no, I didn't feel the pressure. I didn't feel like I had to come to Georgetown at all, though. I really didn't, because I had already ran away and went to Indiana, as far away as I wanted to go. And then when I was deciding to transfer, like the two schools that were on me heavy two of the other schools that were on me heavy that were where I really I was thinking about going were North Carolina and Miami.
Ooh.
And being an athlete, playing in the up and down ACC, to me that sounded great. And honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that Carolina just won a national championship, that's when they had Sean May, Raymond Felton, Rashad McCants, both of the Williams boys, Marvin and Jawad, Dave Noel, like they had a squad.
They just left.
Say they won that year. So Sean May is from Bloomington, Indiana.
Okay.
So when he comes back every summer. So me and him became close over my 2 years there, because when he came back in the summer, he would play pickup with us and all that stuff. So I remember calling Sean right after they won, not too far after they won the national championship. Now they won the national championship, and one of the assistant coaches is calling me on the phone like, "You could be here with us next year doing this, blah 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 blah." Like, to me that sounds good. I hadn't been to the NCAA tournament yet. That was my goal, to win a championship. If y'all know me, y'all know I don't want to do nothing but win games. I want to win championships. That's all I want to do. So I remember talking with Sean like a week later, and I was like, "Sean, honestly, I think I do want to come to Carolina, but I can't come there if y'all rebuilding and y'all not gonna be there." And he's like, "Pat, I ain't gonna lie to you, all of us leaving." And I knew right then, I was like, well, Carolina ain't it for me, because I want to go somewhere I can win.
Right.
And I felt like, relying on, a bunch of freshmen and sophomores to come in and hopefully we can carry it, that wasn't it for me. So I went on my visit to Georgetown. I had a great visit. I actually loved it, but when I left there, I was like, yeah, it was great, but I'm not going to Georgetown. Like, I'm just.
So what convinced you? What at the end of the day, what happened?
So I remember I'm back in Indiana, and I'm sitting in my car one day, and I'm supposed to go. So it's like a Wednesday, and on Friday I'm supposed to go on my visit to Miami. And of course, Coach Thompson III knows I'm going on my visit to Miami, and he knows me because he's known me his whole life. He knows if I get down to Miami,
it's a wrap.
And the type of person I am, I might commit 5 minutes after I land at the airport. You know what I'm saying? I didn't need to see much before I would commit there. So he called me on that Wednesday night. It's probably like 8:00 at night, and I'm sitting in my car, and he's like, Pat, like, what's going on? Like, you ain't have fun you have a good visit? No, Coach, I had a great visit. Like, I loved it. Like, I love the players, Jeff, John, Roy, Tyler. They just finished their freshman year. I know Bebo and Ashanti. Those are my guys. We had good core pieces to move forward. He's like, so what is it? And I'm like, well, Coach, like, you're John Thompson III. I'm Pat Ewing Jr. we got 2 shots at a national championship. Our dads just finished. They had 3 national championship games, not Final Fours, national championship games, and we can't replicate that. I'm not my dad. Like I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm my dad. I know better than that, and I feel like that's a lot of pressure with me and you both being there. And he sat there and he laughed at me on the phone. I'm like, Coach, what's so funny? Like, this ain't funny. This is for real. And he's like, you know, if you feel like having that pressure is not going to be good, or it's going to keep you from coming here, maybe you don't deserve to be here. And y'all know me, y'all. I don't do that. Y'all, you can't challenge me because, you know, I don't back down from any challenges. So, you know, I'm sitting on the phone. I'm like, well, Coach, you know, like, you're not worried about that? And he's like, nah, I'm not worried about that. I wouldn't have took the job to begin with if I was worried about it. And I knew at that moment that he was someone that I could play for. He was someone who wasn't going to let me fail. He was going to be someone who I could learn more than just basketball from.
Right.
And so for me, that's what did it for me. And then to have the guys there, like my 08 class, John, Jeff, Tyler, and Roy. I mean, I had clicked with those guys on the visit, so I knew that we had a chance to be special.
Okay, I get it. I can see that. I can see how you can fit into that mode. Now, but see me, I'm thinking 2 things. First off, if you're a recruit coming out, right, you want to make a transfer, and I got the opportunity to get Patrick Ewing Jr. I'm trying everybody that's running and gunning and flying and doing cartwheels in the air, y'all need to be recruiting Pat. You know? So for me, if it's those 3 options, Georgetown seems like the lesser because of the style.
Definitely.
So even with that rhetoric that coach is talking, that didn't come into consideration on how it can be with you getting to the pros, or how you could, you know, manifest yourself out of this. Even though you want to win, you want to get paid, and you want to go to the next level. Let's keep it real.
No, it definitely did. But to me, to be the big things were trying to win. And with UNC just coming off losing all 5 of their starters and they 6-man, I knew they weren't going to be that next year. They weren't going to be good.
The next coming year.
Who would have what?
If you remember, who were the contenders in that time in the NCAA around that time? Well, you guys went to the Final Four in the year before that. You know, I don't remember.
I mean, Florida won the national championship. UCLA was popping.
Yeah.
USC was playing well.
Yeah.
Like Michigan State was solid.
And it was still during the time when veterans, when juniors and seniors were still in college.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, the elite players were coming out of high school still.
Right.
You had a couple 1 and dones, 2 and dones, but for the most part, juniors and seniors were running it.
Right.
And so, I mean, I felt like Miami, you know, historically Miami is not a basketball school. You know, I saw the offense. I loved the coach. He was, you know, Frank Haith, he was great. I just felt like if you're going to rely on me to be, you know, the go-to guy, I don't know if I want to play there. I mean, I believed in myself more than anybody, but I always wanted to play with guys who were good. And I just didn't see Miami at that time because Guillermo Diaz, I don't know if y'all remember Guillermo Diaz. Guillermo Diaz was cold-blooded. And I think Guillermo Diaz had just left too. So for me, I was just like, I just don't see that team being great. And then I didn't see Carolina that next year, which they weren't. That, you know, I think it was maybe Tyler Hansborough's freshman year. You know, they weren't that great. And so for me, I looked at it as the next year, are they going to get better? I didn't look at it 2 and 3 years down the road. And I just felt like that Georgetown team the next year had the best opportunity to be great. And I felt like at the time, I wanted to be more than just an athlete. Like, you know, when I went to Indiana, like I came to DMV and I became more than an athlete. I go to Indiana and they just used me as an athlete. I wanted to be more than an athlete. And I felt like the way that the ACC would have been, for me, would have been like, all right, he's just an athlete. And I felt like if I went to Georgetown, I would have learned how to play basketball.
That makes perfect sense. I get it. And especially the way the game is playing. And people don't realize that the Princeton offense was part of the NBA at that time.
Definitely.
A heavy part of the NBA. that style was ran by Byron Scott and the New Jersey Nets when they went to the finals. It was ran by Eddie Jordan in Washington, with Gilbert Arenas averaging 30 points.
Right.
And Antoine and Caron Butler averaging 20 points in that system. So it was as crazy it is, and people don't realize it, it's you can score you can score a lot of points in a Princeton. It's just different variations of it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So I mean, well, I could say this as an alum, as a fellow Hoya, we are proud that you chose to come to Georgetown. You know what I'm saying? To further the legacy, to further what was your father and big coach set for us. So I mean, thank Lord you ain't go to no Miami or North Carolina.
I mean, I appreciate you coming to Georgetown because my freshman year was a little easy. Once you started giving me passing those backdoor passes,
Oh man, every time, hey, free, look for it. Put the hand out. You ain't gonna see it, but it's gonna be there for you.
Hey, Pat used to really be his favorite. What's your favorite pass in the? I can tell your favorite pass in the Princeton.
Shoot, the 1-2-2 backdoor or the low post cut pass.
Nah, the joint where you dribble around the whole 3-point line.
Dribble your second forward? Oh, dribble your second forward? Oh, definitely.
That's one.
Dribble your second forward.
You want to turn the corner and try to finesse that joint?
Every time.
Dribble the second forward was his joint.
Yeah, dribble second forward is my go-to.
Yeah, no question.